head coach Dirk Bennett from Eastern Illinois in his second season. Coach, in your first season, you guys fell in a tough overtime opening round match at the OVC tournament. Um, how does that motivate your team heading into this season?
Well, yeah, it was a tough match. It was in the rain on the road, and it's a lot of adversity to just to get to that point, I think, for our young group last year. And we lost to a very, very good, very well coached SEMO team. But, every season has to end at some point, but, no one likes to go out when they do. So I know that's a memory that's sticking with us for sure. In the huddle after that game, and you let the players kind of speak, and a lot of them spoke to just how much they did enjoy the season, how ready they were for the next crack at it. So I think we got a group this year that's hungry, that wants to perform, that wants to, just outdo the expectations, I think, that are put on us from the outside. I think they have a lot of belief in themselves, and so far it's been pretty exciting to see where they can go.
Well, you talk a little bit about the belief that they have in themselves. What are some of the other strengths that they may have, and what are some things that you like about this squad?
Yeah, I think every coach is going to have kind of the cliche about team culture and the things they try to do off the field. But, for us, it's just a staple. It's what we come back to. And we really started with that. I think the on the field stuff takes its shape over time, as everything else does. But right now, there's just a lot of really good leadership that I think that, it hasn't always been there in other previous years. Me being here as a coach, and it's a great thing, great place to start from. A lot of good leadership, a lot of inclusivity. Freshmen are coming in and feeling very welcome, newcomers in general, and just that kind of togetherness. It's some years as a coach you have to force it a little bit or really have to manufacture it. This year it's a bit more player led, so I know that can lead to exponential growth on and off the field. So that's probably the biggest thing to note. Aside from that, we've got, players coming in sort of different form, right, off of injury or healthy and otherwise, but there's a lot of good fitness in the group. There's a lot of grit. Some of the newcomers are extremely competitive, and so they're adding that and pushing the older players, and then the older players are showing them the ropes. So still a lot of unknowns for sure. We get out there and start kicking around in our next match on Saturday, but a lot of bright signs so far.
Well, as the OVC released the players to watch and so on. Avery Richardson that was someone from Eastern Illinois. Kind of talk a little bit about Avery and maybe a way that she can help lead your team this season.
Man, Avery, so she's a senior this year, obviously. It's hard to think of all the good things you can say about her. I think that this year, or really in last spring, we had graduated some important leadership, some mainstays of the program, and she stepped up voluntarily to sort of lead without the title. And so we went ahead and gave her one of those titles this year. So now she and then Ella Onstadt Jr. are two captains for the team. But Avery is sort of that one that's been there for a long time. She's been through her own ups and downs as a player, but she jumped in last year to a back line that needed some leadership. Even as a midfielder, she played as a center back, and we're trying her there right now too, but she could also play some midfield, and that just speaks to her character. She's going to go wherever we need, even if it's on the bench, she's going to be there with the most energy and the most leadership. And right now she's just, I think when I talked about the togetherness of the team and maybe owning their own process, it starts and ends with Avery for sure.
Well, Coach, who are some others that we should look to be maybe some key contributors this season, and maybe even some newcomers that are coming into the program?
Yeah, we're still kind of a younger team. I think last year we had a lot of youth in the starting lineup at the end of the season, and that's going to continue this year. But 1 year removed from that means they have more experience. So, there's some names that got some recognition last year, and deservedly so, like Alex, Teta, and Alyssa Solis and the forward and back lines. They're still going to contribute in a big way, I'm sure. Ella Onstad, I mentioned, is another captain, and she's another one of those players that, man, she's just tough as nails. You put her in the midfield, she's going to battle. You put her up top, she's going to battle. You put her in the back line, which we haven't done yet, but I've warned her we might try that sometime. She's going to battle, so she's going to get minutes. Kate Germano has been around for this is her junior year as well, and she's gotten a lot of minutes. Another kid that's just super, super gritty. And there's lots of others I could easily name, but through the newcomers, it's still so early to see and to know. But I think probably the most competitive one of the group, just by nature, is Colleen Bauer. She's one that's a defender for sure, and we'll see where she slots in and when she slots in there. But she's a player that hates getting beat, so that's exciting.
So, Coach, it's hard to put just one thing on it, but if there was one thing, what would be that need or whatever to make your team a contender for the OVC this season?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of work we got to do. We finished in a tie for fifth, so technically sixth last year, and I think we were predicted last year to finish 10th and not make the postseason. So obviously we outperformed that, and we felt really, really close to getting a top four seed. I think we were one goal away in a certain sense. So in one sense, we're close, but we still have a lot of quality we need to find. And we did better in conference than non-conference last year. So it'd be nice to start this year in non-conference, getting a few wins and get some of that confidence, but it's going to take a lot. When I took over as head coach, I inherited a team with a really good defending unit that then all graduated or left. And we hadn't scored a lot of goals. So really last year it was back to front, and it's the same this year. We got to see who can score goals, who's a bit more experienced and more comfortable, but also inserting some newcomers in all over the field. We got to prove, first of all, we can keep the ball out of our own net. And then as it goes and we build that confidence, we got to see how creative can we be. Are we a possession team? Are we direct? Hopefully we can be a little bit of both.
Okay, Coach. Getting very close to opening day, getting the season started. We're about ready to go into the non-conference part, which can prove to be a pretty good schedule for you, including teams like Valparaiso and Northern Illinois. Kind of talk about how this helps prepare your squad going into conference play.
Definitely. Yeah. I think for me, and I've been an assistant here for some time before taking over the reins, but I think this is our hardest schedule in the fall that we've probably put together. And we'll see if that was a smart decision on my part or not very soon. But, for me, it was challenging the girls. It's just showing them the mirror a little bit and knowing, hey, if there's work to be done, yes, there's such a thing as confidence we have to find, but let's also not be blind to the areas we have to improve. And these teams are going to show us what we have to improve on right away. Teams from the Missouri Valley, from the MAC, even Illinois is a Big Ten opponent the other night. I think for me, putting teams like Loyola on there, Valparaiso, and who was an NCAA tournament team, there's probably 2 to 3 teams on there that are arguably NCAA tournament type teams. And for us, that's a big step up to play those kind of teams and try to compete. So I think it's going to be great. It's going to be exciting. We've got a good stretch of home games in a row as well to maybe see what we can do. And hopefully we just enter conference as healthy as we can and supremely battle tested.
Well, head coach Dirk Bennett from Eastern Illinois. Coach, we thank you very much for your time today, and we wish you the best of luck throughout the season.
Awesome. Thanks so much.